wanted to now dive into this radical framework, and I've taken each letter of that and come up with a word that could be a character trait, if you will, or a value to aspire to, that I think if you could run down this list and check the boxes on each of these, you would be a more well put together man. You would be more integrated. You would be moving from boy psychology into man psychology and really be able to understand that this is what it feels like to be a man. This is what it feels like to have purpose, to have meaning. So let's dive into that. So the R in radical is responsibility. Radical responsibility is an archetype in masculinity because you are the solution. You are always the solution. It is the burden of responsibility of being a man to figure that out and to lead and to ask what's important now. And something I tell my male clients a lot is you might not be part of the problem, but you will always be part of the solution. This is where you can really step up and lead, but only if you take responsibility for that. If you abdicate responsibility and you become a victim and you blame and you complain and you point the finger and you say, well, it's the fault of this world. It's not set up to support men. It's the fault of education. It's the fault of these women that have been mean to me. It's the fault. And you point the finger of blame. That's where your power goes. Power follows the finger of blame. And the best thing that you can do often is turn that finger around and point right back at yourself. Not to say this is my fault, but to say it is me, and only now that can change this. And take responsibility for that. So the radical man, above all else, must take responsibility. The radical man, A, must be aligned. Alignment, when it comes to men's work, I say is head, heart, and balls. The head is where we get stuck. We're very good at this head piece. We think clearly. We can be stoic, we can strategize, we can be logistical, we can be solutions oriented. We're good at the head piece, but it disconnects us a lot of the times from the heart. The heart is that place of trust within yourself, knowing a different kind of resonance. And a big journey for a man, potentially the longest journey he'll take over his lifetime, is navigating the territory of 12 inches between the head and the heart and trying to get those things in alignment. Those things synced up. Because if those things synced up, then the last piece here is the balls, which is the courage to do what is necessary, the courage to step up, the courage to ask yourself these difficult questions of who you get to be and what is required. So you need alignment in head, heart, and balls. And if you're disconnected at any one of those chains, you won't be able to move forward in a powerful way. You won't be able to find that meaning. If you're all head, no heart, no balls, you'll just live in your head. You'll be anxious at all of these dreams that never actualize themselves. You'll become resentful about the world. If you have head and heart, but you have no balls, you won't actually do the things you know you're capable of doing. You'll have a lot of potential, a lot of truth in you. You'll have a lot of ideas, but you'll remain a coward. You'll remain sitting there, not participating in life, treating it as a spectator sport when life is meant to be lived with you on the field, not on the sidelines. The D in the radical man framework is discipline. I've talked about this before, but I truly believe that discipline is your superpower that you can develop and learn. It's a character trait. And as a man, it's not always about asking, how do I feel? It's about asking, what is required of me? If I need to be responsible, if I need to be this leader, if I need to step in and feel that, then what is required of me now? Because a lot of the time, you're not going to feel like doing what is required. But if you know what is required and you ask that question, you're willing to step up and meet it there, that is to be disciplined. Right? I've highlighted in the past the difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation is a feeling that is fleeting. And if you have it, it's wonderful and you can use that. But if motivation ghosts you, which it often will, what needs to take its place is discipline, which is doing what you know is required of you, even when you don't necessarily want to do it. And discipline becomes your destiny, whether this is in your physical health pursuits, because you practice discipline around how you eat and how much you eat and what you say yes to and what you say no to, whether it's discipline in the physical domain of exercise. A lot of the time, you're not going to feel like going out and taking the run or going to the gym, but you also know that you want to be strong, you want to be healthy, and you want to provide that. It might be discipline in the relationships that you have, the discipline to choose to have the difficult conversation, to be the leader in that way. Discipline in your careers, to do the things that you know are necessary, not necessarily always what you feel like. Don't be ruled by your emotions. Feel them, acknowledge them, and then take charge. You are the one that is in charge through discipline. The I in radical health framework for the man is integrity. We say he's a man of his word, and it's very important as a man to be a man of word. And integrity is when our internal thoughts and feelings and actions are all in alignment. Are we a person that says what they mean and means what they say? Do we practice what we preach? Are we a man of our word? Are we impeccable with our word? True integrity means that you never consciously betray yourself. Consciously betray yourself. That's integrity. You don't do that anymore. You're in charge. You know, you're aware, and you know what is required. And to be in integrity means that my internal and my external worlds match. I meet the world in that way. I treat myself with respect by being impeccable with my world, not just to other people and how I communicate with the world, but how I allow myself to communicate with me. When I become either the whiny little bitch, or when I become the person that is judging or shaming myself, that is not being impeccable with your word. That is not being in integrity. So we need to work on our inner landscapes, the textures of our mind, the way we talk to ourselves, and we need to work on the external world too. And much, in a sense, when we work on our internal world, the external world changes, because so often the world out there is just a manifestation of what's going on inside of my mind. The world is a mirror, and this is your opportunity to polish the mirror by practicing integrity. The C in the radical framework to being a radical man is connected, or connection. Men need to be connected. They need to be connected to themselves, their body. They need to be connected to other people, their loved ones, their communities. They need to be connected to the mystery, something bigger than themselves, God or nature. They need to be connected to purpose or mission or drive. So what are you connected to? If the only thing you're connected to right now is hedonic dopamine chasing, pornography, and food and booze and living for the weekends, chasing girls or chasing paychecks, and that's the only thing you're connected to, materialism, chasing a new car, is that really what you want to be connected to? Like, what do you want? Or what do you want to want? The most evolved version of you, the most divinely manly version of you. What is he connected to? Is he clear on his mission, right? Is he clear? Is he connected to his woman or his partner or his family or his purpose, his work, his body? You must be connected. The A in the radical man framework is for attack. You have to attack. This is the warrior ethos that's alive in a man. We're not supposed to be passive. We're supposed to be attacking. Now, to attack in the right direction, we need to know what we want. So we need that awareness and that alignment and that integrity. But when we see it, we need to go for it. We need to be relentless. We need to be disciplined. We need to be driven. We need to be actively participating in life and attacking life. Forward center of mass, constantly moving forward. Not being reactive, but being responsive. Not being reactive, but being proactive. To get after it, to sink your teeth into something. Men can be like a dog with a bone. We need something to chew on. And if we don't have that thing that we're attacking, we don't have that bone to chew on, we start gnawing at the furniture. We start peeing where we shouldn't, pooping in the corner, because we need something. We need it. That's that purpose-built thing that is within men. But sometimes we need to be active and attacking in finding that thing. We can't passively sit back and expect life to just serve us up this perfect little recipe for happiness, hope, meaning, and purposefulness. It's something that must be created. It's something we have to set our sights on and attack. And last but not least, in the radical man framework, the L is for leading. Leadership leads. You go first. You go first. That's what leadership is. You set the example. You be the example. And you see, it's interesting it comes last in this framework, but what is required of everything that comes before it, that is the recipe for leadership. You need to be the person that you need. You need to be the person that the world needs. You need to be the kind of man, the kind of father, the kind of leader that you wish you had. How can you be the kind of leader you wish you had when you think back to being a little bit lost, a teenager that needed that didn't get it? Like, how can you be that for you, for your family, for the world? Because one of the core qualities of masculinity is leadership. It leads. It takes that responsibility of direction and confidence, right? That I am going to create the safety for those around me by being the leader that's required. And leadership is a skill. I know we say a lot of the time, oh, he's a natural born leader. But I think everybody can be a leader. Not everybody's top dog, not everybody's alpha, not everybody needs to be. But we do need to be that in our own lives, over our own minds, in our own little cluster, whether that's our family unit or whether that's what we do for work or whatever it is. It needs to be built on the backbone of leadership, because that's what you are at your core. You are a leader. So lead yourself and you will lead the world around you. The radical framework for being a man, again, you must be responsible. You must be aligned. You must be disciplined. You must have integrity. You must be connected. You must attack your dreams, and you must be a leader. I think if you can take those and ask yourself where you need to show up a little bit more, where you need to dive in a little bit more, and adopt those, you have a pretty good foundation to build from that will help you find a sense of purpose and progress.
Hello friends, if you enjoyed that clip, then you can watch the entire thing by heading to this link over here, or you can find us wherever you find podcasts by searching Radical Health Radio. If there's value here, please hit that like button, let us know in a comment what your biggest takeaway was, and hit subscribe, support the show as we support you. We'll see you soon.